Hello everybody and welcome to Omnipoke, the channel that brings you guys everything Pokemon. I'm Jack and today I've got the second half of the first box of Roaring Skies. I've linked the first part in the description if you guys want to check it out. But as you can see, I've laid out pretty much everything that we got that was shiny just above here. So if you don't want to go back and check the video, you can at least see what we've got so far. So I'm going to crack on with the second part and go through some of these other new cards. Starting off with a Reverse Dratini and a Zapdos and another Mega Turbo. That's really good. I'm glad I'm getting a lot of these good trainers in multiple copies. That's really useful. Save me buying them. I'm hoping with 2 boxes I'm going to be able to get playsets of all of the trainers, or at least all of the decent trainers, plus obviously any more ultra balls and things like that. Any reprints are always welcome. We've got another Trainer's Mail and another Wally, which again is really good. And then we've got a Reverse Dustox again with that ability, or that Alpha trait, or know what they call Ancient trait, Delta Plus, letting you take one extra prize. For any knockout you get with the Pokemon, which is a really cool concept. But I think it's had to make the Pokemon feel a little bit more underpowered. So I don't know whether they perhaps underpowered them too much, but there's not really any in the set that are too strong. But I guess if they made them too strong, then it would sort of ruin the fun of them. And that's a Full Art Gallade EX we've got in this pack, and a Winona, which is really cool. So Full Art Gallade EX is, I think, really interesting. Mega Gallade is, I think, the most interesting out of all of the Megas in the set. Obviously, Mega Latios is the Shaman killer. Mega Rayquaza is the anything killer. But Mega Gallade, I think, is probably the most interesting. And it's definitely good to get a Gallade, because I think the Gallade is alright as well. It's unfortunate that Piercing Prizes doesn't have any colourless cost, because it would be a little bit more useful since we would have Dimension Valley support with it. But I think that may have made it too strong, I'm not sure. But definitely the Mega Gallade is, I think it's one of my favourite cards in the set, to be honest. The thought of doing 110 to your opponent's active and then 30 to everything with damage on the bench as well is really strong. It's just finding a way of being able to deal that damage to everything before setting up, or before hitting with Gallade. I'm not quite sure how to do it in such a way that the deck is consistent and things like that. But it's definitely something I want to test, and I know a couple of people have been asking for a Mega Gallade deck analysis, so I think I'm definitely going to look into that, or well, definitely me or Joe is, but I really want to give Mega Gallade a go, because I think it's got one of the most interesting attacks in the game at the moment. We've also got a Beautifly Holo in this pack with its Miraculous Scales ability, which is basically Safeguard, but doesn't prevent the effect of the attacks. But unfortunately, Beautifly is a stage 2 and Seismitoad is still in the format, meaning that it's a little bit more difficult to get these stage 2s out, and we just have better safeguarders in the format, so it's unfortunately a bit of an underwhelming card. And again, we've got another Beautifly, which is quite coincidental, as well as a Togekiss and another Winona. I didn't go over Winona in the last video, so I'll quickly go over it now. It's just such a good card for Pokemon, colourless Pokemon. Colourless Pokemon have received a lot of support this set, and with basically Winona as a collector from back in the day, letting you search your deck for 3 colourless Pokemon and put them into your hand. Considering a couple of these colourless Pokemon also have the ability to the Delta Evolution Ancient trait, it means that you can actually get a full evolution line set up pretty quickly if it's colourless based. We've then got a Latios Spirit Link and another of the really interesting Cool Concealment Bayonets that I'm still pondering how to get the best out of. I think the Spirit Links is probably the best way of doing it, but I'm sure, again, someone will come up with a quirky deck that will abuse people playing tools. We've got another Bayonet. It seems like the set is asking me to make a Bayonet deck, and a reverse Zekrom. Zekrom is unfortunately, again, a little bit underwhelming. I feel the first Zekrom ever printed was probably the best one. The one that did 120 and 40 to itself at the time was so strong. And whilst I preferred Reshiram, I still love Zekrom. Zekrom was definitely... I think I got the Zekrom game before I got the... Ooh, that's 3 full arts in the box. That's insane. That's a full art Mega Gallade as well. This is the card with the card I was playing earlier that does 110 to your opponent's active Pokemon, and then 30 to every damaged bench Pokemon, which is such a strong attack for 3 energy. That's a lot of damage, sort of per energy, and 3 full arts in the box. That is really insane. I'm very happy about that. Unfortunately no Shaymins, but I feel the 3 full arts definitely makes up for it. And we've still got a few packs left, so hopefully somewhere in there we've got a Shaymin hiding. Because I do not want to have to buy 4, because the things are crazy expensive. So next up we've got a reversal of Bagon, and then a Talonflame. Again, forever wishing Talonflame was treated properly in the TCG. And then a Revive, a Gallade Spirit Link. Again, so it feels like the set's calling me to play Mega Gallade in some form. And another Skyfield. Ah, that's so cool. 3 EXs in the box, 3 full art, in the box is pretty rare. So I'm very happy with this box so far. And obviously the golden. So considering I think Goldens are 1 in 2 boxes. That's 3 full arts and a golden, I would imagine, is relatively rare. In this pack we've got a Holo Salamence, which I think is another really interesting Stage 2, but again, because it's a Stage 2, it is unfortunately relatively difficult to get out. But it's not very often that we see cards with 3 attacks anymore, and for the energy that it costs, its attacks are definitely efficient. And if Seismitoad wasn't in the format, what is going on with this pack? If Seismitoad wasn't in the format, I feel would work really well with Reshiram and Double Dragon Energy, because you could be Steam Blasting for 170 for relatively often, like turn after turn with Double Dragons, and being able to Turbo Blaze. 170 is a big number. This pack we've got I think that's the first, maybe it's not the first Swablu I've had, but it's the first one I've noticed. And then a Skarmory and a Switch. It's really interesting that they've decided to put Skarmory as a colourless Pokemon instead of a metal Pokemon, obviously reflecting its flying type, but I think that's the first ever time we've had a Skarmory that wasn't metal type. So that's a pretty interesting way of doing things. Like I say, they've really given some love to the colourless Pokemon in this set. And then this is the other Bayonet I think is also pretty interesting. We've got 3 more trainers, but the other Bayonet I think is probably the most interesting card in the pack. Evolution Jammer. Considering Bayonet also has itself Delta Evolution, you can set this guy up in 1 turn, providing you've got a Psychic Energy and a Shepherd active, and a way to search out the Bayonet, which sounds like a lot, but probably isn't too difficult in all honesty. Evolution Jammer means that you can't play Pokemon from your opponent can't play Pokemon from his or her hand to evolve his or her Pokemon during their next turn, which means Wally and Evo Soda do get around this, but I feel it's not really too important because not a lot of decks will be playing Evo Soda or Wally, and this could really shut down some decks if they rely on evolutions. Unfortunately, Bayonet itself isn't too strong, so it can't really tank the hits, even if it can't evolve when playing against Megas. But I think against evolution-based decks that don't run some sort of EX attacker, it could be a really interesting card, because they're going to be stuck with basic Pokemon for a lot of the game. Next up we've got a reverse Inkay and our first Altaria, which is one of the reasons why colourless Pokemon are so broken in this set. The ability Clear Humming means that your colourless Pokemon don't have weakness anymore, which is just crazy. That's a big deal. So yeah, I'm certainly glad to get one of those. And 4 packs left, so hopefully we can pull something else pretty nice out of the box. We've got a reverse Dunsparce and another Shedinja, which is pretty cool. And then a Rayquaza Spirit Link. Oh, I really like this set. I've really enjoyed opening this box, especially with the pulls there. They've made me very excited about opening the second box, which probably won't be as impressive, but you never know. I'm also going to give away a second code here. So there you guys go. Pause it there if you want a free Roaring Skies pack, and there we go, there we have it. The best card in the set, Shaman EX set up. Oh my, I'm very happy to at least have one of these. Oh, that's genuinely made me a little bit speechless. I'm so happy to get a Shaman. Setup, if you don't know, when you bench this card, basically you draw up to 6 cards. And it's such a good way of sort of getting out of any sort of drought, supporter drought, anything like that. Because it doesn't count as your supporter for the turn. With Skyfield, you're not worried about bench space. With Clear Humming, it doesn't have weakness. All of these things, and its attack is really good as well, letting you return it to your hand and deal 30 damage for just the DCE. So super happy to get a Shaman. In the penultimate pack, we've got a Switch, a Spearow, and then this was the Dragonite I was talking about that I think is really interesting. Heavy Impact does 150 for 5 energy, which seems pretty costly, but with double Dragon Energy and its first attack Wrapped in Wind, you can get this set up in one turn. Well, sorry, in 2 turns. First turn you attach an energy and Wrapped in Wind, and the second turn you attach a double Dragon, or the other way around. Either way, if you Wrapped in Wind, you can get this set up in 2 turns, providing you've got another energy in the hand. And with no sort of discard energy drawbacks or anything like that, and Delta Plus mean that you take an extra prize when you knock out something, that it becomes, I think, pretty threatening. Again, obviously, Cybertoad isn't the format, which makes all stage 2s a little bit worse, and that's why I don't think Dragonite will see play, but perhaps when Cybertoad goes, we could see some sort of Dragonite come out of the woodwork and deal with some of the other decks in the format, because I think it's one of the best stage 2s we've got. And to finish it off, we've got another Dragonite, the Max Wind Dragonite, and then a Winona and a Rayquaza Spirit Link. And then an Electrode reverse. But yeah, that's for my first box. That's insane. 3 full arts, a golden and a Shaman. Just feels like I've been spoilt, really.